If there was any spicy fried chicken that deserved to be in a hall of fame of fried chickens, this one might be at the top. Nashville hot fried chicken. It's more than just a hot chicken. It's a way of life. You don't have to go all the way to Nashville to eat it. You can make it at home very, very easily. If you're already making fried chicken, you're basically 90% of the way there. You just gotta mix some spices, put it in some oil, and you can tailor the spice level to your liking very easily. I have two variations for you. We're gonna do the classic version that's bone-in, but I also have a very special sandwich, which we'll reveal after we make that chicken. So that being said, let's make this, shall we? You always start with marinating your goddamn chicken, okay? You could also not marinate it at all, but highly recommend you do. So 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of Frank's Red Hot, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, and 2 teaspoons of MSG. Yes, go buy it. Anyway, whisk that together until thoroughly combined. That's it, super simple marinade. Now, I'm gonna give you 2 options here, okay? Because I know not everybody vibes with the same way to fried chicken, but traditionally with Nashville Hot, you'll use what's called a chicken leg quarter. It's a bone-in piece of chicken where the thigh and the drumstick are connected. You kind of get the best of both worlds. I'm a big fan of this, but if you don't want that, I'll show you what you can do instead. For now, we'll put 4 chicken leg quarters. That's about 2 pounds or 900 grams, depending on the size of your chicken. In our marinade, just roll them around, make sure they're completely submerged, get the marinade under the skin, separate the skin, get that marinade in there, brother, okay? You ain't marinating unless it's touching the damn chicken. All right, once those are mostly submerged, you're gonna cover that with plastic wrap and leave it in the fridge, ideally overnight. You could just fry them right away and it will work, like they will fry, but they will be much less flavorful on the inside. You want the flavor to penetrate the chicken, so ideally, marinate this overnight. Now for the dredge, very simply, 3 cups of all-purpose flour. But to supplement that for extra crunch, I want this thing to have an earth-shattering crunch that is not gonna go away when we dunk it in the spice oil, which is what makes it Nashville hot, but sometimes leads to a soggy destruction. We're not gonna let that happen. So, half a cup of cornstarch. You could also do potato starch, probably. 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of MSG, not a negotiation. We are putting MSG. If you don't like it, you can get out. 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, and 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Whisk all that together until thoroughly combined. I mean, it already smells freaking awesome. That is our flour dredge. Now, you thought, oh, this little boy ain't know nothing about Nashville hot chicken. We haven't made the hot oil yet. 1/4 cup of cayenne powder. You wanna add a 1/2 cup? Do it, I don't care. 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Listen to me. Some people are gonna go, oh, I like onion. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of onion powder too. Do not do that. I don't know why, but onion powder is very pungent and very strong. Always go much lighter on onion powder than you think you should. Now, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. That can also be light brown, that's fine. 2 teaspoons, and this is optional but highly recommended, of chicken bouillon powder, right? That could be Knorr, that could be whatever your favorite chicken bouillon powder is. Chicken soup-based powder works too, but that's basically MSG and chicken flavor. I don't know what it's made out of, but it tastes really good, so. Anyway, whisk all that together. So homogeneous. If you have any pieces of brown sugar, you can break that up with your hands. Maybe wash your hands after this thoroughly, because if you rub your eyes, you will have a bad day. Or if you go to the bathroom, it's even worse. So this is ready. We're not gonna do anything with this. We're gonna set this to the side. This is what will be our hot oil dip for the chicken. Before we start breading, little secret on to get the little crispity crunchies on the outside. I've said this so many times, I'm gonna say it again. Wet hand, dry hand. Dip your wet hand, which will be your non-dominant, into the marinade, and I just want you to kind of like flick little dots into the flour. Toss that together. Do it again. You can do this up to 3 total times. That'll just create little clumps of flour that will adhere to your chicken and really get it crisp. So we'll take our chicken out, put a piece in, coat with flour, press that flour into the chicken, flip, make sure it's coated on all sides, every little crevice, get it under the skin, make sure that there are no bald spots on this chicken whatsoever. Beautiful. Now shake off the excess, lay down your chicken. If you see any bald spots, just add a little extra flour and then repeat with the rest of your chicken. All right, let's fry some chicken. So you'll likely need 2 pots for this, 2 leg quarters per pot. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do them in batches and then they'll end up sitting for too long. So fry your chicken leg quarters in 325 Fahrenheit oil until internal temperature reaches 165 Fahrenheit, about 12 to 15 minutes. Be careful with the heat control because they will burn if left undisturbed at the bottom of the pot for too long. Now, while your leg quarters are frying, you're then going to finish your Nashville hot oil. Ladle about 1 cup of your hot frying oil, ideally around 350 Fahrenheit, into your spice mixture, then immediately whisk until combined. It will sink to the bottom, so you'll have to stir it before you add any chicken, but for now, set it to the side. Once those leg quarters are done, immediately toss them in your spicy oil, then place in a wire rack to drain. And optionally, you can always coat it with a little bit more oil for extra flavor and color. Then, to assemble your sandwich, simply serve atop a slice of white Texas toast or thick cut white bread with a few dill pickle slices, and enjoy. Now this is just a classic version. Now it's time to show you something equally delicious. Now for this method, we're gonna use chicken tenders. So you need 2 pounds of chicken breast if you're gonna do that. And you can just literally take your chicken breasts and cut them into strips lengthwise that are about 1/2 inch thick. You can also go thinner if you want. And then that gets the exact same marinade. It's just with chicken breast sliced into strips. You'll massage that in. Would have loved to have gloves in this situation, that was my mistake. Same concept, let it marinate overnight. Now, delicious ranch dressing. To me, it's the most perfect simple ranch dressing I could possibly think of. So, 3/4 of a cup of a nice mayo. That could be Kewpie, that could be Duke's. Those are your 2 options. 1/2 cup of sour cream. Next, we're gonna add all of our seasonings. So we've got 3 cloves of garlic grated, a little handful of fresh parsley, about 2 tablespoons of that, and 2 tablespoons of fresh dill, both finely chopped. So you can combine those 2 together. We have the dill, the parsley, and just kind of bind them together, press them together. First, we're gonna thinly slice that one direction, then chop the other direction. That'll go in your bowl as well. Mix that together, and then at this stage, I want you to look at the consistency of this. It's a little too thick. I want it just a touch thinner. So I'm gonna add a little bit of buttermilk, about 1 tablespoon, whisk that in. How do you feel about that consistency? You want it runnier? Add another tablespoon. I'm actually pretty happy with this consistency. Normally I would put a little bit more buttermilk for ranch because ranch is supposed to be a little bit more runny, but I want this to be a sandwich sauce. It has to be a little bit more viscous so it really sticks to the sandwich. So now at this point, season and taste with salt, a little bit of pepper. This lasts for a couple days in the fridge, so you can do this ahead of time if you want. And you have a beautiful ranch dressing ready for your sando. For the tenders, bread them exactly like the leg quarters, then just fry in batches at 350 Fahrenheit until an internal temperature of at least 165 is achieved. And they're a nice golden brown delicious, about 3 to 5 minutes. See? Nummy, nummy chimkin. Now, as soon as those tenders are fried, take them out, toss them in your spicy oil, and set them on a wire rack to drain. Now you make your slaw. You never make your slaw too far in advance or else it gets soggy. So you're gonna need 4 cups of thinly sliced cabbage, which is somehow a 1/4 head of cabbage. I don't know how that's possible, but okay. I mean, look at that, that's nice. Now, to your sliced cabbage, add a 1/4 cup or 60 grams of mayonnaise, kosher salt to taste, a teaspoon or 4 grams of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons or 20 grams of apple cider vinegar, and then a touch of freshly cracked black pepper to taste. Then using your hands, give that a good mix, making sure all of your ingredients are thoroughly blended together and evenly distributed, and you have a creamy, crunchy slaw. Now we have all of our components, it's time to assemble our sandwich. You're gonna need toasted buns, burger bun, brioche buns, potato rolls, it's up to you. You'll need 4 for this recipe. Just make sure that they're toasted in butter. Add a nice layer of ranch at the bottom bun, layer on your pickles, followed by 2 to 3 tenders, a nice mound of your slaw on top of the tenders, and then again, a ranch sauced top bun. That is a beautiful sandwich if you ask me. We have 2 versions of a Nashville hot fried chicken. They're both essentially the exact same, except one is boneless, one is not, one is on a sandwich, one is on a piece of bread. Oh! I gotta say, this is one of those things where it always seems a little overrated until you have it again. And then you're like, oh wait, this is definitely underrated. It's not something that I would say is better than a traditional non-Nashville hot fried chicken, but it's different enough where you could definitely crave this over that. It's so deeply flavorful. It's not just salty, seasoned chicken. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's smoky. The oil enrobes it in a way that adds a layer of flavor richness, not just fattiness, but rich in deep, deep, deep toasted spices, flavors. Honestly, it's one of the greatest chicken recipes on planet Earth. Shout out to Nashville, my God. And you can always mix and match the spices that go into the oil. You can mix and match different buns and toppings, etc. But the key point is do yourself a favor and just make it spicy. Don't pull back on the spice too much, because that's the little firecracker that makes a Nashville hot chicken really special. So, love you, subscribe, bye.